Sunday, time for a new episode of Record Collecting with a Quill. The theme for today, Beatles covers. I've been enjoying the Get Back documentary this week, watching most of it. I think I have a couple of hours left, but as I was watching this, the subject came to me, Beatles covers. I've chosen some stuff from my collection, some cool versions. I'm in no way inclining that these are the best ones, but there's some stuff I'm enjoying and some kind of... it's going to be an eclectic mix, I think, of various stuff. And also, I would love to hear what are your favorite cover versions of Beatles songs. Please comment in the comment section. And before we start, you know the drill. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little notice bell and share with your friends. Well, Beatles covers. There was a time when almost every artist recorded at least one track on each album, so there's tons of them. I did a quick search on my Discog page and through my collection and found, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 different cover versions, bands or artists recording Beatles tracks. So I've chosen some cool stuff, starting out with this one, obviously. If you ask me, this is probably the best one, the Joe Cocker with a little help of my friends version, probably the most famous one. And if you're watching this channel, I'm pretty sure you heard it. Really cool band. You have Jimmy Page, you have Stevie Winwood as well. Jimmy is playing lead guitar on the track. And he changed it quite a bit, as you probably know, from Beatles. The Beatles version is in 4/4. And they changed it to a 6/8 beat instead, which makes it for quite a different version. But Joe Cocker's singing on this one is what makes it such a great version. He's recorded a couple of other Beatles tracks as well, but this is the first one, the best well-known one, and if you ask me, the best one. Next is one I was really into as a kid. The Mötley Crüe Shout at the Devil album, and they do a version of Helter Skelter here, which I think, how can you not love this when you're a kid? I was really into this album. They do a great version of Helter Skelter here. I really prefer. I think it suits them pretty well. They were young and reckless, and it was a perfect track for their state of mind, I think. They've done some cool stuff, Mötley Crüe. I prefer the early stuff, and they've done quite a few turds as well in their history. But this is a great album I was really into as a kid, and as I said, I think their version of Helter Skelter is the best cover version I heard. There's some other versions. U2 made a famous one as well, but I think the version you hear first is the one you get accustomed to. So that's why I choose Mötley Crüe over other versions. Then to something completely different. Jaco Pastorius, the bass god, and his album Word of Mouth. Here's a instrumental version of Blackbird with him on bass, and you have Toots Thielemans on harmonica, doing a great version. Beatles tracks are so well written; you can do them without the lyrics, and it's quite interesting. It's a little bit eclectic, I think, in a way. Had it been only for the harmonica and the bass, it would have been a really nice version that added some percussions and different sound effects, which I think makes for an interesting listening. So cool one. Maybe not as good as his first solo album. This is the second one, but still enjoyable. Jaco Pastorius, Word of Mouth, with a great version of Blackbird. Next one is an album I was quite disappointed when I bought. It's the KGB album. It's from 1976, and it's sort of a supergroup. You have Mike Bloomfield on guitar, you have Carmen Appice, the great drummer, on drums, you have Barry Goldberg, you have Rick Gresh, I think it's called, played with Blind Faith, and you also have the singer Ray Kennedy, did a short stint with Michael Schenker, actually. When I bought this album, I was thinking it has to be good with all these great players, but I'm not that fond of it, actually. But they do a great version, I've Got a Feeling. the Beatles track here, and what makes it so good is Mike Bloomfield's guitar playing, and also I think Ray's singing quite well on it as well. So even if I'm not a big fan of the whole album, they get away with it thanks to the great track I've Got a Feeling. So check it out if you haven't heard it. Cool one. Next one is about Isabella, and they recorded a couple of different versions of Beatle tracks. Deep Purple, this is their second album, The Book of Tales, and they recorded Help on the first album, Shades of Deep Purple, and I think that's cool, but I prefer this one, mainly because it's such a great mix of what makes Beatles great and what makes Deep Purple great. It's sort of a two tracks mixed together. Exposition is the Deep Purple track called, and it's mixed or intertwined with We Can Work It Out, which I think works really well actually, and it showcases Deep Purple's talents as musicians. And I'm also really fond of the Mark I lineup with Rod Evans on vocals. I think I mentioned before I'm a big fan of his band after Deep Purple, Captain Beyond. And he's a great singer, and he's fitting really well for the style they had on the three first albums. He wouldn't have fitted with the whole in rock sound of the band, but these are still really cool to listen to. And as I said, We Can Work It Out mixed with some great improvisation from Deep Purple is a great fit. So check it out. Next one, maybe a little of an odd choice, but Tom Jones. I'm a big fan of his. Actually, I really enjoy his singing. He has a great powerful vocals. And this is his Live in Las Vegas album from 1969. And here he actually has two Beatles tracks, both Yesterday and Hey Jude. I've chosen to go with Hey Jude because of his powerful singing, and also he has a great backing band, and with a guy who made it really big a couple of years later, namely Chris Slade, when ended up as the drummer for both AC/DC and Uriah Heep and tons of other great bands, Manfred Mann as well. But he's playing drums here. This version, the version of Hey Jude, borrows quite a lot from the Wilson Pickett version, was released the same year. But since I mentioned that album just a few episodes ago, I decided to not name it here. But Wilson Pickett's version of Hey Jude is cool as well. But this is live. This is Tom Jones at his best in Las Vegas at the end of '69. What more can you ask for? It's a great version. Check it out. Powerful vocals. Next one, something Swedish. Imperial State Electric. The album is called In Concert. It's sort of a mini album or something. They do a great version here of You Can't Do That. It's the B-side to Can't Buy Me Love, and I think it ended up on the Help album as well. Imperial State Electric, for those of you who don't know them, it's Nicke from Helicopters and Entombed, and it's one of those bands that I think should have gotten a lot bigger than they actually became. And I don't know what the status is right now. I don't know if they're on hiatus or if they're disbanded, but they've done some great stuff. And this version, it's an early Beatles track, and it's sort of a Hamburg sound to it, which suits this band really well, sort of garage rock, which as I said, fits them really, really well. And if you haven't checked this band out, please do, because there's some great stuff, some great songwriting, some great playing. If you're a fan of rock and roll, you should listen to them. But You Can't Do That, cool cover version of a little bit of an obscure Beatles track. And last one for the evening. One of my house gods, Leslie West, and the Leslie West Band, and the band he formed after Mountain disbanding. You have Corky still on drums, and you have Mick Jones later in Foreigner playing with him here. He does a great version of the Beatles track track Dear Prudence here. It's really dreamy with Leslie's great vocals, and actually quite a soft guitar solo for being Leslie West. He usually is quite aggressive and plays really hard, but here he plays a lot softer, which I think suits the song really, really well. And not the most famous Beatles cover, but and not maybe the greatest album of his, but still a really cool version to listen to. And as I said, laid back, really cool listen, perfect for Sunday evenings actually. So give it a try right away. Well, those were my picks. I would love to hear what are your favorite ones. As I said, there are tons of Beatles covers. I will put all these tracks in the Spotify playlist. You find a link below so you can listen to them. I think all tracks are available except for maybe the KGB track, but it's available on YouTube if you want to check it out. Also, make sure you follow us on social media. It's the QUILL Sweden. Lots of cool stuff coming up. We're playing we're playing Malmö and Stockholm next week, and Malmö on Friday and Stockholm on Saturday with Evergrey again. It's going to be tons of fun. So follow us on social media for more cool news. And I'll see you all again next week. That's it for now. Thanks and goodbye.